Hey guys, this is the Magicka sorcerer build I was telling you about. I'll start off with the gear. I'm going to show you two different options for gear, one that has trial gear and one that doesn't. So the first option is going to be Crafty Alficus paired with Necropotence and also a Lambris Head and Shoulder monster set. The Crafty Alfica, you want to go the staff and the jewelry. That way when you bar swap, you lose the Crafty Alfica if you have a Maelstrom lightning staff. If you don't, then just use two Crafty Alfica lightnings. The body, you want Necropotence. This is all gold divines. You can have purple divines gear if you want. And jewelry, it doesn't really matter too much, except for the weapons. Weapons always have to be gold. It just gives you way too much of a damage buff to try to go with purple weapons. It's just a massive DPS loss. Alright, the skills. We're going to start off in the back bar with Lightning Flood, Blockade of Storms, Elemental Drain. You use Elemental Drain when you're testing, but when you're actually running in content and you have a healer applying Elemental Drain for you, you're going to use Hardened Ward instead as a shield. But when you're testing your DPS, you run Ele Drain in place of your shield. Bound Aegis, and then Summon Volatile Familiar and Thunderous Rage. And there's a reason, a very specific reason, that I have these skills set on these buttons, and I'll show you that in a minute. When you go to your front bar, you're going to have Daedric Prey, Summon Volatile Familiar, Shock Clench, Inner Light, Bound Aegis, and Shooting Star. Alright, let's get right into the rotation here. You're going to start out on your back bar. Oh, I'm also using Essence of Spell Power Potions. They give crit and major sorcery, major prophecy, and major intellect. Those are basically the three buffs you have to have, so they're really worth having. You want to start off applying Ele Drain to your target, then you're going to drop your ultimate, and then you're going to get into the rotation. The rotation, here, I'll attack this guy first so you can see. You're going to start off with a light attack, and then you're going to activate Lightning Flood. Then you're going to do another light attack, then you're going to put down your Wall of Elements. Okay, so that's all you do on your back bar. So it's R2, square, R2, then triangle. Now, if you notice, if I do a light attack, then follow in it, like the light attack animation, see how he puts his staff forward and then pulls it back? But if you do a light attack and then immediately hit an ability afterward, watch this. See how it cancels out the light attack animation and goes right into the animation for the liquid lightning? That's what you want to do. So you want to go R2, then square right away, then R2, then triangle right away. Okay, so it's like boom, 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 boom. That's it. Then you want to bar swap, and you want to do the exact same thing on your front bar. R2 square, which is your curse, and then R2 triangle, which is your pet. So, on your back bar again, R2 square, R2 triangle, bar swap, R2 square, R2 triangle. Then the only difference is on your front bar, you're going to follow the R2 triangle with a fully charged heavy attack. And so I'm going to press R2 and hold it, and then halfway through I'm going to hit circle. So what happens is if I do a fully charged heavy attack and it ends, then I hit circle, he does the clench. But if while I'm holding R2 to do my heavy attack, I tap circle, the instant that my heavy attack is done, he'll automatically shoot the clench off. So it actually saves you a little bit of time. So I go R2, keep holding R2, hit circle, and keep holding R2, and then boom. The instant your heavy attack is done, you'll fire off the clench. So that'll save you a lot of time. So It literally is 3 buttons: square, triangle, and circle. So R2 square, R2 triangle, bar swap. R2 square, R2 triangle, hold R2, tap circle, boom. That's it. That's the entire rotation. And you go to your back bar and you start it all over again. R2 square, R2 triangle, bar swap, R2 square, R2 triangle, hold R2, circle, swap, R2 square, R2 triangle, swap, R2 square, R2 triangle, hold R2, hit circle. That is the entire rotation. And as you can see, there's a lot of damage numbers going on there. So I'm going to put my pet away for a moment. We're going to come over here and we're going to do a quick parse on the smaller dummy. When you have your pet out, yeah, I can pull him out now. You're going to, oh yeah, and by the way, you're never ever going to activate your bound armor or your inner light on your front bar. Those are simply there to increase your max magicka. With crafty Alficas and Necropotents running the Thief Mundus Stone, my stats look like this. So I have 64,000 magicka, which is a pretty huge magicka pool. I have 21,000 health, 10,000 stamina, 2,700 spell damage, and 62% crit. That is all points into magicka, nothing into health, and I still have 21,000 health. The reason my health is so high is because of the Undaunted passive. Undaunted Metal. Increase your max health, stamina, and magicka by 2% per armor type. So heavy, medium, and light. So when you're building your magic characters, you want to have your head and your shoulder as a medium and a heavy. Ideally, you'd want your head to be heavy and your shoulder to be medium, because a heavy head gives you more armor than a heavy shoulder. So your resistances will be slightly higher. And then your chest, waist, hands, legs, feet, all max magic, all divines. Alright, I think we're ready. Let's try this out here. So, take a potion, drop your ultimate, and then just start doing this rotation. Now what I'm going to do is every second time through the rotation, I'm going to reapply Elemental Drain, because I don't have someone here casting it for me. If you can get a friend to join you and LE Drain the target for you, that'll increase your DPS, because you won't have to take the split second to cast it on your own. The other thing you want to keep in mind is don't take your potion as soon as it's available, but don't take it if you're in the middle of your heavy attack, because it'll stop you from doing your heavy attacks there. I took my potion before I went into my heavy attack. You're going to start off with the Destro ult on your back bar, and then sometime during the fight, Meteor is going to be ready on your front bar. You're going to cast that. Just try to get through your rotation as quick as possible, but make sure you're hitting every single light attack in between all your abilities. That is very, very important. So I didn't crit as much this time. Usually you can get upwards of 40,000 with this build. That's 37,718, so 37,718. Really easy 3-button combo. Now I'm going to swap over quickly to Infallible Aether. My Infallible Aether jewelry is gold, so it gives me a tiny bit more max magicka. each piece of jewelry does, but my overall magicka is going to drop significantly because I'm not wearing crafty alficas anymore. But there's a really cool thing about this set, and that is Infallible Aethers, 5th piece bonus. Your fully charged heavy attacks deal an additional 903 damage. It's not a big deal. But enemies damaged with your fully charged heavy attacks are afflicted with minor vulnerability for 10 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 8%. This is huge. This not only increases your damage, this increases the damage of every single person in your group. So I'm just going to do some attacks here and build some ultimate. So ideally, you're going to want to run Necropotence and IA, but if you don't have access to Trials or you don't have IA yet, you can use Crafty Alficas. You can also use Mother Sorrow, but Crafty Alficas has outperformed Mother Sorrow on this particular build. The other nice thing about this build is that because you're doing heavy attacks every rotation, you end up having a large amount of magicka. So you're probably never going to run out of magicka. Okay. Wait for that to clear and get out of the combat. Okay. So, same thing. Ellie Drain Potion Ultimate. I don't have my pet out yet, so this is gonna... There, I just pulled them out, so that was a tiny little DPS loss on the first bit, but it shouldn't matter too much. It's key to remember, if you choose to run a Lambrus as your monster set, that if you're using a lightning staff, you have a fire enchant on it, and if you're using a fire enchant, you have a lightning enchant on it. That's to make sure that you get the chance to double proc a Lambrus. If you're not running a Lambrus, I would suggest running Scoria. It's a great alternative. Does a lot of damage. Does some splash damage too. There we go. 47,680. Significantly better. I still had the buffs on from hitting the big target, but it doesn't matter. Even without those buffs, you hit 42,000 easily with this build. And like I said, you're also buffing everyone in the group. Everyone's damage in your group goes up by 8% for 10 seconds. And because you're attacking with a heavy attack every like 7 seconds or so, you basically keep this buff up indefinitely. I think that's pretty much it. Infused weapons are going to outperform Precise and Sharpened, except if you choose to use Crafty Alficas. Because you don't get as much crit with Crafty Alficas, you need to run a Precise staff. But if you choose to run IA, because it gives you 2 spell crit bonuses, you can use Infused. And you're going to want to run the Thief Mundus Stone to get your spell crit up. Just a little pointer. If at any time your spell crit is lower than 53%, you need to do whatever you can to get it above 53%. If you get it above 53%, you don't have to take the Thief Mundus. You can actually take the Shadow Mundus Stone, and it'll be a DPS increase. So I could actually have quite a bit higher damage output with this build if I were to change from the Thief to the Mundus. Instead of 47, I probably would have hit around 50, 53 or so. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions at all, just message me and I can help you walk through the rotation. It's really simple, really easy. The potions themselves are easy to make. It is Lorcan's Tears, Cornflower, Lady Smock, and Water Hyacinth. Those three combined will make the potions that you need. You don't have access to the buff Major Sorcery because you're not running Crit Surge on this build. You don't really need to, but if you choose to go into Maelstrom Arena with this build and you need some self-heals, then on your back bar you would swap this for your shield, and then you would swap Bound Aegis for Power Surge, which will give you Major Savagery, or sorry, Major Sorcery, and it will also heal you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone's interested in a light attack build, which hits significantly harder on a Sorc, it's harder to sustain, a much more complicated rotation, but again, it does a lot more damage. If anyone's interested in that, I can post that too. Alright, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, just message me. Alright, later guys.